Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Netta and I am a founder and chief creative officer at beetobee. We are a boutique content marketing agency, and today I'm super excited to share with you all of our tips and tricks for creating the best thumbnails. Let's dive right in. I have my tea with me right here, so feel free to grab a tea or a coffee and let's learn more about thumbnails together. So here's something that really surprised me when I was doing my research for this video. There are not very many high quality videos on thumbnail creation, yet everyone in the creator space knows just how important thumbnails are. Why isn't anyone talking about thumbnails from a psychology and design standpoint? That felt like a gap worth filling. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the real data, the design principles, the color psychology, and the psychological mechanisms behind what makes people click on your thumbnail. No fluff, just the good stuff. Let's dive right in. Okay, so here's the truth. If you are running a service-based business and you are not on YouTube, you are missing out. Video isn't just a nice to have anymore. It is mandatory. It's how your buyers find you, vet you, and decide to trust you. Video drives your revenue, builds your positioning, and does the work of warming up your leads so you don't have to. I'm gonna walk you through something I call the chip bag analogy. Think about when you walk down the potato chip aisle in a grocery store. You see all these different types of chips, all these different flavors, all these different brands, and imagine you haven't tasted any of these chips. Which bag do you reach for? I find myself reaching for the one with the most exciting packaging. I really like the Proper Crisps packaging. Not the biggest fan, for example, of the Bluebird packaging. Yet, if you look at the prices, the Proper Crisps bags are more expensive than the Bluebird's bags. So packaging is super important. Before even tasting the chip, I'm already making a decision about which bag I want to purchase based on how the packaging looks. You can think of your video thumbnail as the packaging, and the video is the chips inside. How you package your content matters, particularly at the first point of contact, which is the thumbnail. So, what exactly is a thumbnail? Think of a thumbnail as a micro billboard. It's the first handshake between your content and a potential client who's never heard of you before. In a feed that's absolutely packed with content competing for your attention, your thumbnail is what decides whether a high-value prospect clicks through to your video or scrolls past it. Here's the kicker. You can pour serious time and money and energy into creating this incredible, highly professional, very well edited video, yet no one will see it and no one will hear what you have to say if they don't click on your video. This is why sometimes people might argue that the thumbnail is even more important. Yes, of course, the video content is incredibly important, but wouldn't it be so sad if you just spent 20 to 30 hours creating, editing this video, spending all this time and effort researching the topic, and you have a really important story to share? Imagine no one hears your story. No one tries your incredible secret formula potato chips if they don't click on that thumbnail. So this is why packaging is so important. All right. Here's a stat that should make you feel good about being here today. Professional buyers are already consuming an average of over 5 hours of business-related video content every week. Your audience isn't allergic to video. They're actively looking for experts to follow. The question is whether they're finding you. All right, who's heard of click-through rate? CTR. In case you haven't, here's the definition. CTR, or click-through rate, measures the percentage of people who see your thumbnail and actually click. It is the clearest signal you have for whether your packaging is attracting the right people. And I've gone ahead and included a little formula of the click-through rate right here, so you can see what that looks like. For a B2B lead generation, average CTRs typically land somewhere between 1 and 3%. Knowing your baseline matters because if you're optimizing your thumbnails well, you should be beating it. So this is how you measure whether or not your thumbnail is actually working. So I really wanted to keep this PowerPoint focused on stats and numbers, so let's get right into some of the numbers that you need to know. I'm going to read off some stats that I've included in the PowerPoint and you can just follow along on the slide. So 76% of B2B marketers are actively using video in their content marketing strategy. 62% are increasing their video investment up from 45% in the previous years, and 37% plan to put even more budget into video in the coming year. And 87% report that video directly drives more sales and leads for their business. So this isn't a trend, it is the direction that everything is moving. And it gets even more compelling when you look at the results. So companies use video consistently to grow revenue 49% faster than those relying on static content, and over half of B2B marketers, 52%, say video delivers the highest ROI of any asset they produce. So if you've been on the fence about whether or not this is worth it, here's your data, you got this. Okay, so now we're gonna talk a little bit about the psychology of thumbnails. So here is something that really fascinates me about the whole subject. The decision to click on a video really happens in a millisecond. We are consciously deliberating as we are scrolling whether or not we want to click on this video or that video or keep scrolling past it. The decision to click on a video is entirely subconscious. A well-designed thumbnail can reduce the cognitive load and have someone think, yes, I want to watch this, before they even realize it. So the Nielsen-Norman group defines 5 core design principles that kind of explains how people process digital interfaces. This is scale, visual hierarchy, balance, contrast, and gestalt. We will get into these in upcoming slides, so stay tuned. Visual design principles. By the way, that's a fun little painting I did over there. It's kind of some beach and sand vibes with some sparkles and some actual sand. So thought I'd share that little fun fact. Okay, back to the main content. Think of what's gonna follow as your thumbnail design 101. A taster course built around evidence and action. For each of these principles, I'm going to tell you exactly what it means, exactly how to execute your own thumbnail, and the specific psychological mechanisms they're tapping into. So put on your creative hat and let's dive right in. So principles of scale. What is scale? Scale is using relative size to signal importance. So this is the most critical element in your thumbnail design. Think about it. Is your face taking up most of the screen? Are there massive texts that say do it all or strategy, like the examples up on this side? Or maybe there's big text saying quit, or should I quit, or you should quit, or you are failing. So what is taking up a lot of your screen? So this is how you can execute scaled. It's really important to enlarge your primary subject or text hook so it fills most of the available space. Don't shrink it into the corner. Don't want it to be illegible. This is why it works. Your brain is hardwired to prioritize the largest object in any visual field. Scale is visceral attention mechanics. You are working with human psychology. Now let's talk a little bit about contrast. So what is contrast? Contrast means putting visually dissimilar elements side by side, specifically using colors that sit opposite each other on the color wheel. Those are your complementary colors to create visual energy and pull the eye in. Most social feeds, YouTube, LinkedIn, are predominantly a high contrast thumbnail visual. Most social feeds like YouTube and LinkedIn are predominantly white and gray. So a high contrast thumbnail detaches from all of that and forces you to stand out. So you can execute this by putting some bold yellow text on a dark charcoal or black background. The goal is that it will make your thumbnail look like it's jumping off of the screen, and it really draws attention to your text. Simplicity is key. You don't want your thumbnail to have a paragraph of text or a million different emojis. You don't want it to be confusing and distracting. You want it to be clear and simple. A photo of you, one angry emoji or explosion emoji, one chart. If you have a very detailed chart with lots of different data points in X and Y axis, and people have to try to, squint and really read to understand what's going on, that is not the point of the thumbnail. People shouldn't have to try to decipher every little thing that's on your thumbnail. Look at Dea's example of a 1K to 5K. That's really simple. So it's like how to go from 1K to 5K. Layla's just says stay calm and has a expressive face. So simplicity is really, really key. You can execute this by limiting yourself to one subject and a minimal text overlay. Avoid group photos and skip complex diagrams. Less is genuinely more here. So now let's talk a little bit more about the stare in the crowd effect. So what it is, human evolutionary biology has made us hyper attuned to other people's faces. In a B2B context where trust is everything, this is a massive opportunity. Eye tracking research has confirmed what's called a stare in the crowd effect, a direct gaze detected significantly faster than an averted one. This is important because if you are facing the camera and looking directly at the camera. As people are scrolling, it'll look like you are looking at them. They're more likely to click on you. So instead of posting a picture of you looking off to the side in your thumbnail, consider using a picture where you're looking directly at the camera, because it'll look like you are making eye contact with your viewer. All right, now I'm super excited to talk to you guys about color psychology. Color is the fastest communicator you have in visual design. It bypasses rational thought entirely and goes straight into an emotional response. And that emotional response happens before the viewer has read a single word. Contemporary data suggests that up to 90% of snap judgments about a product or brand are based exclusively on color. So your color choices aren't a style preference, they're a strategic decision. So in the next few slides, we are going to break down the main colors and what they're doing psychologically when a viewer sees them in your thumbnail. So first, let's start with the color blue, like the sky. Blue has a psychological association with trust, reliability, security, and stability, so it's strategically used in financial services, enterprise software, and consulting firms where they want to project authority as their primary goal. Basically makes your audience feel as if they are in safe, expert hands. Red. Red is associated with urgency, excitement, passion, and a little bit of danger. It is literally known to raise blood pressure and respiration. Red is strategically used as an accent color for a critical focal point, a warning, or a call to action text element. It demands immediate attention. Just don't drown your thumbnail in red. Now let's talk about the color choice orange. So it is psychologically associated with confidence, energy, optimism, and vibrancy, and it gives you that stimulating energy of red without the aggression. It's an ideal choice for creative agencies, innovative solution provider, or anyone hosting dynamic webinar style content, which is great because B2B has yellow. Yellow is actually my favorite color, but I guess you could also say it's a little bit orangish. Speaking of my favorite color, yellow, let's talk about yellow. Yellow has a psychological association with optimism, clarity, and a little bit of caution. Strategic application in B2B thumbnails, yellow is brilliant for creating stark contrast against dark corporate backgrounds. You can use it to highlight specific elements you want the eye to land on first, and it also works really, really great with like a charcoal, black, or gray background. Typographical engineering overview. So here's how to think about text in your thumbnails. Your visuals arrest the gaze, but your text is what seals the deal. The goal is to balance enough text to hook and not so much text that you overwhelm because people are just trying to read. Optimal text to image ratio. High-performing thumbnails consistently point to one golden ratio. Text should occupy 10 to 20% of the frame. That means your image commands 80 to 90% of the space. Your text is the seasoning, not the main dish. Brevity for thumbnail texts. For LinkedIn native video, design guidelines recommend capping the text at an absolute maximum of 3 words. High-impact thumbnail design, the kind used by specialized firms for getting results, mandates 2 to 4 words maximum for clarity on your thumbnail. So if you want some inspiration, I have dropped a few examples down below. Some of them are should you quit, most miss this, stop being nice, do it all, get addicted, dangerously relaxed, dangerously confident, make them click. Notice the patterns. These are short, punchy, 2 to 3 to 4 words, and they all create a little bit of tension or curiosity. They get you asking, ooh, what's that about? What does that mean? I want to learn more. Tell me more. When you are creating your thumbnails, you want to try to use bold and thick and dark and more heavy fonts as opposed to the thin and light and italics fonts. And for visual separation, you want to apply a drop shadow, bold outlines, or solid color blocks behind your text. This creates a definitive boundary between your text and the background images and guarantees legibility no matter how complex or colorful the imagery behind it is. The importance of human touch. Here's a stat that I love. Thumbnails and brand videos featuring authentic emotional expressions saw a 78% increase in engagement. The presence of a real person in the frame drives a 14% engagement uplift. And authentic, unstaged content drives 41% more engagement than polished, corporate staged imagery. Your audience wants to see real people like yourself, so get out there, get on camera, and start filming authentic content. Feature your experts. Credibility is visible and it's measurable. Now more than ever, people want to see your CEO, your CCO, your founders, your board. Get your experts on camera. Thumbnails featuring subject matter experts increase engagement by 40%. Featuring executive leadership specifically, that's a 53% lift. And placing those experts in an authoritative context, speaking from a stage, leading a workshop jumps engagement 70% compared to abstract or generic environments. Put your experts front and center. Let your audience see who they're trusting and start to build a relationship with them. Attention hacking. We're designing for a mobile-first, fast-scrolling role. You have a fraction of a second to earn someone's attention, and bold, dynamic visuals are how you are going to do it. Inspiring imagination. Moving beyond dry product features into storytelling that resonates emotionally, that's where the biggest returns live. Emotionally resonant brands content drives a 67% uplift in engagement. Inspirational messaging adds an additional 36%. One nuanced note, tonally soft cinematic content holds attention 20% more effectively than high contrast commercial styles, though that applies more to the video itself than to the thumbnail, which still needs to be bold and attention grab. Consistent branding is so important. So your future clients will thank you for building a consistent visual identity across every thumbnail you publish. They will know, oh, that's Layla and Alex Hormozi's videos. Oh, that's Daya's content. Oh, that's Matt Gray's content. They all have a similar vibe to them. So in a fast scrolling feed, you want your audience to be like, oh, there's Layla video, I want to watch that. Oh, there's Daya video, I want to watch that. I don't really care about this one. I don't need to watch this one. They are really just keeping their eye out for that pink background or that cool nature background or the cool office with the cool plants in the background, and they know to click on your content. Here's what all this research tells us. A B2B thumbnail optimization is not an afterthought. We are no longer in the day and age where you can create this video and just be like, oh, okay, here's a random thumbnail. I'm just gonna pick a segment from the video, or I'm just gonna allow YouTube to automatically upload a frame as the thumbnail, or I'm going to spend 5 minutes creating a thumbnail on Canva. A thumbnail is no longer an afterthought. You must create your videos. It is a rigorous, multidisciplinary practice sitting at the intersection of psychology, design, and strategy. The volume of video being created is accelerating, evidenced by a 420% increase in the production of deep dive videos over 20 minutes long. Competition for attention in professional markets is only going to intensify. The brands and creators who treat thumbnails as the strategic asset it truly is, they're the ones who will win the feed. You have the knowledge, the next step is to use it. You got this. So we've spent a lot of time educating you on thumbnails. Now let's talk about some actionable next steps that you can take and start implementing right away. First, a key takeaway from this talk is the importance of text brevity. So think of your thumbnail as a visual hook. What are the 1, maybe 2 to 3 to 4 max words that you can use to capture your audience's attention? Here are some samples. Quit, ? With Layla sitting at a laptop. Thank me later with Alex. And then there's a little diagram behind him. 2, feature expressive, authentic faces. Okay, so we are biologically wired to want to look at other human faces as opposed to just like something random, maybe like a tree or some sort of just graphs with no human beings. Skip the generic stock image photography. We all know what that looks like, and feature yourself, feature your team, feature your subject matter experts. The audience wants to get to know you and build a relationship with you. So show your gorgeous face on the thumbnail. Here are some examples with real humans showing maybe an expressive or emotional reaction. Respect the platform safe zones. Now, you'll see there's some templates online. Keep in mind when you are creating your thumbnail, not to include anything that is critical in an area that might get cut off. And remember, scale is very important. So you don't want to write things really tiny. You want to have big, bold text that will be visible. And don't have a lot of words, don't have a lot of text, but also just keep in mind the platform safe zone so you don't get anything that's really important cut off. Number 4, use high contrast and consistent branding so when people are scrolling through their busy feed, they'll know exactly when to stop because they really want to see your content. For example, this is Layla's feed. There's a lot of pink in the background. It all looks very similar. You know, I kind of can tell when I'm about to come across a Layla Hormozi video. And step number 5, A/B test for watch time. So stop guessing and start testing. YouTube's native A/B testing tool lets you compare up to 3 thumbnail variations simultaneously. So you could use the same image and do 3 different texts. You could use the same text and try 3 different images, 3 different expressions with the same text. Change it up, use it, and it's important to keep in mind that YouTube actually determines the winner based on the watch time, not just the click-through rate. So that means clickbait is a trap, a thumbnail that makes a bold promise the video doesn't deliver will ultimately hurt your channel. Make the promise and keep it. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I am so proud of you for taking the time to learn more about how you can improve and grow your YouTube channel. As always, it means so much to me if you could hit that like button and subscribe for more content, and feel free to follow me on LinkedIn. Leave a comment down below. Message me if you have any questions. I would love to hear from you. You're welcome to directly reach out, and you could even book a free call with us on our website. So thanks so much, and I'll see you back here soon. Bye guys!